And that's a squared. So to find a, you take a square root of all that number that you just found. Is this familiar? Seen this? Or does it look totally unfamiliar?
Yes, that looks good.
Okay, so it's calculator time. You gotta be really careful how you put this in the calculator. Using the TI 8384.
Yes, I have an 84.
Okay. Okay. Are you comfortable putting this calculator in the
Yes.
calculator? All right, make sure your mode is in degrees. I'm going to also do this calculation with you. So we should compare results and see what we come up with.
I got 166.1 degrees.
It's not in degrees, it's just a number. That's a length squared actually. But yeah, that is correct. So then take the square root of that.
Oh yeah. Okay, wait.
Can't forget to do that. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the most important step. If you're comfortable, you can do it all at once.
I got 12.88.
Yeah, we'll call it 12.9 here. Very good. Okay. So one of the things that I like to do, and it's just me, you don't have to do this, but I like to build a table with my final answers in it just to make it easy for you, the student, but also if I were a student, grading wise, it's a lot easier to grade something with all the numbers there. So we'll call it 12.9. And then we know that big A is 42 degrees. It also helps to show you the angle side pairs that you have.
Right.
Okay, now, even though you're in the law of cosines problem, you only use law of cosines one time. You should now use law of sines to find either big B or big C. It doesn't really matter. Do you have a preference for which one you want to find?
We can find big C.
Big C. Okay. So what I like to do is I like to put the unknown in the top left. Law of sines, just like law of cosines, there's a couple of different forms, but it's always sine of the angle over the side equals sine of the angle over the side. And this time you have to choose A as your other angle side pair. So you can put in the known values, 19 equals sine 42 over 12.9. And then you solve for C. So sine C equals 19 over 12.9 sine 42. But then you have to undo sine. And you did this earlier in the course, but maybe it's been a while. You undo sine with arc sine or sine inverse. So C equals sine inverse 19 over 12.9 sine 42. So if you're comfortable, you can put all that in the calculator. If you're not, you get all this in the calculator on the right, but make sure you use sine inverse for that.
I got it keeps.
Do you have a number? Sorry, I didn't know if you're ready.
Yeah, I do the second cosine to get like the inverse, and it keeps saying error.
This is sine inverse sine. And the number, so this number right here, the kind of the intermediate, if you want, is 0.9855, we'll say. So make sure your mode is in degrees. It should still be from before.
Yeah, it's in degrees, but every time I do like the inverse, it always um I keep saying quit or something like that.
An error. Okay. Try it one more time. Let me see. I'm gonna quickly grab my my virtual calculator here or go through it with you. All right, so I can share my virtual calculator if that would help, and maybe we can figure it out together. All right, so if you're seeing my screen,
Yes.
so again, I know you said yours is in degrees, but you can always check. Mine is not because I just loaded it up. I got to go over there and hit degree. All right, so now 19 divided by 12.9 times sine 42. Okay, and that should give you 0.9855. Can you confirm that you've got that?
Yes.
Okay, so now it's second sine inverse right there. And then to grab the previous answer, you can use second A and S, which is down here with the subtract, or yours might have a copy and paste feature. I don't really remember. Should give you something like that.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I got it.
Great. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the other screen. And this is really good news because once we found the other angle, 80.2 degrees, we can find the third angle, but we don't need to use law of sines. It's a triangle. All three angles add up to 180. Okay, so you just subtract these two angles from 180 and you get your missing angle there.
Okay.
Which I got 57.8. Does that work for you?
Yes.
Okay. So these are longer problems. Like that's why you only got, 5 of these, I guess. There are two types of law of cosines problems that we start with. The first type is what we just said, side angle side. The second type is all three sides. So, but this one we'll see kind of the same way. So again, I'm just going to draw P, Q, R. I always draw them the same way. I always draw the first letter here on the left, then top letter, then next letter. Really helps. I think, you don't want to overcomplicate this thing in regards to, writing the triangle. So you label the angle 73 degrees. Q is 7, R is 15. So this time we're finding P. And if you really don't like the letters, you can relabel it. I mean, you can go A, B, C, if that helps. Would you like us to relabel it, or do you want us to go with the original letters?
We can go with the original letters.
All right, very good. So this time, it's a little awkward, but again, it's like P squared. That's the one that we're trying to find, is the other side. I don't have a Q there. That's R. Is R squared plus Q squared minus, and then it's 2. Then you choose the same two sides, R and Q, cosine of the angle that is across from the side that you're trying to find. Do you think you'll get the formulas on the test or quiz for this?
Yes, I think we will.
Okay, then no need to sort of worry about the formulas. So in this problem, you're given R is 15, Q is 7, 2 times 15 times 7 cosine 73. Again, that's p squared, so you have to take a square root to find the missing value.
Okay.
So go ahead and take your moment and calculate that. Let me know what you come up with.
I got 212.6.
Okay, I agree. And then you're going to take a square root of that, hopefully.
How do you do where you can press something and it just puts the answer from like the previous thing?
It's second ANS, which is the subtraction button.
Okay. I don't think it's a subtraction. Oh, yes.
Or negative, sorry, negative, not subtraction.
I got 14.58.
Yep, we'll call it 14.6. So this is great. You've got a lot of stuff in the triangle already. Just going to bring it down and kind of reframe the problem here. So again, like I like to just say, okay, PQR, little p, little q, little r. So we've got 15 and 7 and 14.6. P is 73 degrees. So you're going to find either Q or R next. And it doesn't really matter, but you're going to use law of sines for that. Which one do you want to find?
We can find the big Q.
Big Q. So that's sine of big Q. That's the thing we're trying to find. I always put the one we're finding at top left over Q, sine of P over little p. And then substitute the numbers now in the next line. So sine Q over 15, sine 73 over 14.6. And then just like the previous problem, you solve for sine Q by clearing the 15, multiplying both sides by 15. And then you take the sine inverse of that.
I don't know if I put it in right. I think I got 79.3.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
79.3, and go ahead and find the other angle there.
Like find R. Oh,
It's,
yeah.
it's the last angle. You don't have to, you just have to subtract from 180. No,
Yeah. Yeah. Is it 31?
It doesn't sound right. You're just subtracting 73 and 79.3 from 180. Go ahead and try that one more time.
27.7.
Yeah, good. Okay, that's really good. Again, like you're just going to take a little longer because there's lots of parts to each problem. All right, so number 30 is next. Hopefully this is, okay, so 30 is just like the ones we just did. I'd like to go to the other ones and come back to this one. 33 is exactly the same. Why are we doing? We need to do one. Okay, 35. 35 is a word problem. Okay, why don't you do either 30 or 33? Well, maybe one of these doesn't work. That could be what it is. All right, we'll just do them all. We'll be able to get through them all. Just trying to look ahead to make sure we don't miss any. But yeah, let's do 30 next. It's just odd that they're not giving you the one where they like your instructors intentionally didn't give you one where you're given all three sides, which is it's a big part of law of cosines. So this one you're again given angle, a side, an angle, and a side. JKL, 125 degrees. That's little j. Little k is 24. Little l is 33. So you're solving for j this time. Do you want to give that a try? The setup.
So it would be the square root of
It's always the other two letters squared.
yeah,
No,
so 24 squared
right.
and then 33 squared
Good.
and then
Minus 2 times.
24 times 33 and
Good.
then
And then
times cosine of 125.
yes. And so give this a try. So yeah, this one works. Okay.
I got 2,573.
Good. Good. And you can tell. So notice how that number is a whole lot larger than the K and L values that are given in the
Right.
problem. That's your indicator. Oh, maybe I forgot to take a square root. And there's a lot of times students will just think, oh, that's it, you have to take a square root. So J is much smaller. Go ahead and give me the answer to 1 decimal place, please.
$50.7.
50.7, good. Like I mentioned before, you only do law of cosines one time. You don't do it twice. Law of sines you can do twice on occasion, but this one you only do once, and then you move to law of sines. Now that your teacher could say, I want you to use law of cosines for everything, which is really irritating, but usually they're okay with you only doing it one time. So that would be something to consider. Like if you asked her, hey, are we gonna have to use law of cosines to solve everything, or can we just use it one time and then use law of sines afterward?
Yeah.
So go ahead and solve for either K or L, big K or big L. Let me know which one you choose so I can also set it up here.
So K.
Okay. So always law of signs is always side or sine or over its side, or it's a side over its sine. And then you have to choose the one that's given. So in this case, J is the one that's given.
So for the left side, I got 0.008.
Okay. Almost there. For this one.
For yeah,
Yeah.
that one.
So I got a different value. Did you multiply both sides by 50.7? Sine K is 50.7 divided by 24 times the sine of 125.
Yeah, let me
And then
see. I might have plugged it in wrong. Okay, I got, oh, it just told me error.
So this one does not work.
Oh, okay.
And this does happen on occasion. So this ends up being undefined. When you get that, you should always check your calculations a couple of times because it's also possible you've just made a mistake. But this one is undefined. So there is no triangle. Maybe that's why your instructor had you do this one.
Mm.
That is possible. Was that mentioned in class?
Yeah, it was.
Okay. All right. Let me look ahead on this one, see if I can tell you if this is going to be a triangle or not. So we're going to go 27, 3, and then given angle of 16. All right, will this one work? This one does work. Okay. So I'll have you do a little more on this one. Call this B, C, and D. B is 16, C is 27, and D is 3. So go ahead and solve for a little b, please.
So it would be 20 or square root of 27 squared plus 3 squared minus 2 times 27 times 3 and then times cosine of 16.
Okay, that sounds good. Make sure you take a square root of all that.
I got 24.1.
Yes, very good. So this is 24.1. So use that information to solve for either angle C or D.
So now we can find big C.
Okay.
So I always forget how to set this one up. Is this sine over
So-
or sine of
Yeah, it's the same letter top and bottom, but it's the angle over the side in this case because you're trying to find an angle. And then you have to choose the another side angle pair that you have.
mm,
Like you couldn't choose the D because you don't have it. That wouldn't work. But
right.
in other problems, you would maybe have some more options.
So what do you divide by on the, so it's sine of 27 and then divided by,
No, it's the sine C divided by 27. Big C is the angle. The angle is always
oh,
with sine. So you have three of the four.
oh,
Big B
okay.
is 16, little b is 24.1.
Okay. So then you have to multiply 27 by both sides.
Yeah, multiply both sides by 27.
I got 0.308.
Okay, so you got to take a sine inverse of that.
Um, 17.9.
That doesn't sound quite right here. The other ones were fine. Okay, let me try this. So you said so you have hopefully you have sine C equals 27 over 24.1 times sine of 16. Does that look right to you?
Yes.
You said 0.308, right?
Yes.
Okay, and then it's the sine inverse of that. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Maybe I misunderstood. Did you say you said 17.98?
Yes.
Okay. Why isn't that matching up with what I think it should be?
I might have plugged
Science.
it in wrong.
No, I think you did fine. I'm 24.1. The 24.1 is fine. No, it looks right. It's just not agreeing with the calculator answer that I
Mm.
which is surprising. Usually these things are. Do you have the answers in the back of the book?
We do, but I don't have that on me.
You don't have, okay, all right. Okay, so maybe I didn't enter the information right. That's probably why. Okay, let me try this one more time. Oh yeah, I entered it wrong. That's why. No, that's right. A, B, C. Little c is 3. Side B is 27. And the angle across from there is 16. Huh. All right, well, the numbers are lining up, so let's go with this here. C equals 18 degrees.
Yes.
And then we'll find the missing angle here by subtracting from 180.
So then you would add the angles up or subtract by 180.
Yes, yes, exactly.
So 146.
18 and 16, 34. Yeah, 146. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so switching to 35, it's some sort of a story problem here where you have to draw the triangle. And again, you don't have to be all that good at drawing. It's just about sort of organizing things. So during her shift, the pilot flies from Columbus to Atlanta. So we're just going to say Columbus, Atlanta, even though that may not be right. 448 miles. And then on to Phoenix, 1,583 miles. And then back to Columbus, 1,667 miles. If you make a different triangle, that's okay. It does not have to be the same triangle, but you've got all three sides of the triangle. This is the other type of law of cosines problem you'll see. So this time you're given three sides and you have to pick an angle to solve for. So I'm going to just choose angle A, or actually let's choose angle C because that's probably the most common way you see law of cosines. Law of cosines, this is the most common form, a squared plus b squared minus 2ab cosine big C. This is the most common one. So let's consider Phoenix B just to make it more consistent. So this is B, this is C, and this is little a. So this time you're trying to solve for C, big C over here, but you get all this other stuff. So there's two approaches. Some textbooks even go to the trouble of solving for the angle. You'll see the formula is cosine inverse and some subtraction and division, or you can put the numbers in and then move everything around. Which would you like to do? Would you like us to solve for cosine C with the letters or put the numbers in and then solve for cosine C?
Probably put the numbers in.
Okay. They get kind of large here, but that's okay. I mean, 1583 squared equals 1,667 squared plus 448 squared minus 2 times 1,667 times 448 cosine C. So sometimes lost in all this is that the 2 times this number and this number, the 1,667, 448, that's a number in front of cosine C. You're not subtracting it. You can only combine the first two. Okay, and I would rather wait to go to the calculator at the end. So first thing is to move these numbers that you're squaring to the other side of the equation.
Right.
Okay, so it ends up being 1,583 squared minus 1,667 squared. 448 squared equals -2,667, 448 cosine C.
So wait, why did you move everything?
We want to solve for cosine C, so we have to
Oh,
move
right,
stuff
right,
around.
right. Okay, so the left side is gonna be.
And
Left
then
side,
then you divide both sides by the stuff that's in front.
yeah.
And really you want to put all this in your calculator at one time. You don't want to try to do it in pieces. You want to do everything in the top and then everything in the bottom.
I
So,
got 1.77.
okay, that could be a problem. Let me check. I've been not ready to do that yet, but 1.5, always a good idea to do the calculation twice. Okay, I've got a different number, so probably a good idea to run that calculation through one more time.
Okay, yeah, I think I just plugged something in. Um, I still got the same thing.
Okay, so let me jump back to that calculator because it's so important to do it. Now, does your calculator give you a fraction bar or not?
No, it just
Okay,
does the
okay,
division.
okay. So you have to put the numerator in parentheses and the denominator. 1,583 squared, 1,667 squared, 448 squared, close parentheses for the numerator. Division bar, open parentheses, -2, parentheses 1,667, 448, close parentheses, close parentheses. That's the correct answer we're looking for.
Okay. Oh yeah, I see what I did.
Many students get the wrong answer just because of calculator error, not putting in right or not knowing how to enter it. So just really take your time to do that. Now you still have to take the cosine inverse of that number.
Right.
So I'll do that. I'll do that here. Cosine inverse, second, subtraction or negative symbol. Excuse me, A and S, and then should get 71.5 degrees. All right, so that's angle C. Unfortunately, we still got a bit to do, and it's going to be law of sines this time. Because you now have an angle and a side pair,
Right.
you've got C and big C. You can solve for either A or B. I'm just going to choose to solve for A. So sine A over little a, sine C over little c. Then you put the numbers in that you have sine A over 1,667, sine 71.5 over 1583. Go ahead and solve this for
I always plug this one in wrong. So it's going to be sine 71.5 divided by 166.7.
No. You divided by this and then you multiply by this number.
Okay.
I mean, you can enter it. So, okay, that I see that would help you. So what you should do is do this calculation on the right and then write out the result, but go to a bunch of decimal places. So 71.5 divided by 1583. And you can see that's, well, it's pretty small. That's one of the reasons you don't want to do this, but it's 5.9999906 times 10 to the minus 4. And then you're multiplying that by this 1667.
Okay.
Do you have an answer for sine, what sine of A equals, or A itself?
I got 0.998.
Yes. And then you want to take the sine inverse of that.
Yes. I got 2.98.
Make sure you're using sine inverse. Second, sine to the minus 1. Yeah, try that one more time. 0.9.
86.3 or 4.
Okay, yes, that's good. So we'll say 86.4. You know, depending on rounding, you could be off by a little bit from your instructor's answers, but as long as you're in the ballpark. And then to find A, the last angle, you subtract these two angles from 180. Do you have an answer for me on that?
Oh, was it the inverse of sine?
No, you're just subtracting from 180
Okay.
to find the last angle. Once you have two of the three, you subtract from 180.
I got 22.1.
Very good. Okay. All right. So this is a very difficult subject. Lots of calculations.